Dear students, good morning. Today we are going to discuss about the lesson Chemistry in Daily Life. When we hear the word chemistry, we think of chemical reaction conducted in the laboratories. But chemistry is beyond that. We can find chemistry in everything in our surroundings. It is in the air we breathe, the food we eat, and in everything we use in our daily life. Our body is also made up of elements like nitrogen, phosphorus, hydrogen, oxygen, calcium, potassium, sulfur, magnesium, etc. All the chemical reactions taking place in our body are due to chemistry. Our whole life is dependent on various chemical compounds. Among them, hydrocarbons are the most important one. The whole civilization is driven by hydrocarbons because they make up the fossil fuels, petroleum, coal, and natural gas. In this lesson, we are going to discuss about different types of hydrocarbons, fossil fuels like petroleum, coal, and natural gas, characteristic of fuel, and solar energy and its application. First, we move on to hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbons are the organic compounds consisting of carbon and hydrogen atoms. Hydrocarbons are naturally and they are found in fossil fuels like crude oil, natural gas, and coal. About 300 million years ago, plants and animals died and they were buried on the ocean floor. Over time, they are covered by silt and solid layers. Then they were buried deep inside the earth and compressed through temperature and pressure and converted to fossil fuels like oil and natural gas. These fuels are found in porous rock which lie below large bodies of water, especially oceans. By drilling these rocks, hydrocarbons can be extracted. Hydrocarbons are present in different trees and plants. Now we are going to see properties of hydrocarbons. Among all the chemical compounds, hydrocarbons have some unique properties. Most of the hydrocarbons are insoluble in water. They are less dense than water, so they float on top of water. They react with oxygen to produce carbon dioxide and water. Hydrocarbons can be gases, example methane and propane. In case of liquids, hexane and benzene, or in case of waxes, paraffins. Hydrocarbons are capable of making bonds with one another. This property is known as catenation. Due to this property, they form more number of complex molecules. Move on to types of hydrocarbons. In hydrocarbons, carbon and hydrogen atoms are linked together through different chemical bonds. The four general classes of hydrocarbons are alkanes, alkenes, alkynes, and arenes. Some of the common hydrocarbons are methane, ethane, propane, butane, and pentane. In case of methane, it is the simplest hydrocarbon in which four hydrogen atoms are linked with one carbon atom. It is colorless, odorless, inflammable. It is an ecofuel because it does not produce any harmful products. It is used to generate electricity. Next, we move on to propane. Propane is an odorless and highly inflammable gas. It is heavier than air. It is liquefied through pressurized and commonly used as LPG. Liquefied petroleum gas. Next, you move on to butane. It is a gas at room temperature and atmospheric pressure. They are highly inflammable, colorless gas that quickly vaporize at room temperature. Next, you move on to pentanes. Pentanes are liquids with low boiling point. They are used as fuels and solvents in the laboratory. They are also used to produce polystyrene. Next, we move on to natural gas. Natural gas is naturally occurring hydrocarbon gas mixture consisting primarily of methane along with other higher alkanes and a small percentage of carbon dioxide, nitrogen and hydrogen sulfide. If the natural gas contains low hydrocarbons like methane and ethane, it is called dry gas. If higher hydrocarbons like propane and butane are also present in the gas, it is called as wet gas. It is always found above the oil in the oil waste. This gas is trapped inside the small spaces in underground rocks called reservoirs. Converting natural gas can be extracted through drilling wells. Natural gas can also be found in reservoirs with oil and is extracted along with oil. This is called associated gas. Can you see some uses of natural gas? It is used as an industrial and domestic fuel. It is used in thermal power station. It is used as fuel in vehicles as an alternation for petrol and diesel. It is also used in electricity generation. Now we move on to compressed natural gas. When the natural gas is compressed at a high pressure, it is called CNG. It is compressed natural gas. Nowadays, it is used as fuel in automobiles. So when you see the properties, it is the cheapest and cleanest fuel. Vehicles use this gas produce less carbon dioxide and hydrocarbon emission. It is less expensive than petrol and diesel. Now we move on to coal. Coal is one of the fossil fuel. It is a mixture of free carbon and compounds of carbon containing hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen and sulfur. 300 million years ago, some plants grew into giant ferns and mosses. These plants got buried into the bottom of the soil. They slowly started to decompose and form a dense sponge-like material called peat. Over time, peat was compressed due to high temperature and pressure, and coal was formed. As coal contains mainly carbon, the slow process of conversion of dead vegetation into coal is called carbonization. Now we are going to see extraction of coal. Coal is extracted from the coal beds found below the surface of the earth. Coal found inside the earth broken into pieces by explosive and brought above. Depending upon the coal bed, coal is extracted in two ways. If the coal beds lies within 22 feet of the earth's surface, the topsoil is removed and the coal is dug out. This is called surface mining. Second case, underground mining. In some places, coal beds are found very deep inside the earth. In that case, underground tunnels are made to get this coal. This is called underground mining or deep mining. Next we move on to types of coal. Can you name some types? Yes, lignite, subbituminous, bituminous, and anthracite. The coal is classified into four main categories based on the amount of carbon it contains and the heat it produces. Among the four types, anthracite is the most desirable one due to high heat content. First, we move on to lignite. Lignite is a brown colored coal of lowest grade. The carbon content of lignite is 25 to 35%. Lignite contains a high amount of water and makes up almost half of our total coal resources. It is used for electricity generation. The second one, subbituminous. When lignite becomes darker and harder over time, subbituminous coal is formed. It contains 35 to 44% of carbon. It is used preliminarily as fuel for electricity power generation. In the next case, we move on to bituminous. With more chemical and physical changes, subbituminous is developed into bituminous coal. It contains 45 to 86% of coal. It has high heating value. In the last case, we move on to anthracite. It is the highest grade coal. It has very light weight and the highest heat content. Anthracite coal is very hard, deep black and shiny. It contains 86 to 97% carbon. It burns longer with more heat and less dust. Next, we move on to uses of coal. Coal is used to generate heat and electricity. It is used to make derivatives of silicon, which are used to make lubricants, water repellent, resins, cosmetics, hair shampoo, and toothpaste. Carbon fiber, which is an extremely strong but lightweight material, is used in construction, mountain bikes, and tennis racket. Now we move on to petroleum. Petroleum is derived from the Latin word petra, meaning rock, and oleum means oil. It is a fossil fuel formed from the remains of ancient marine organisms through decaying process. Petroleum is a complex mixture of hydrocarbons that occur in earth in liquid, gaseous, or solid form. The term petroleum commonly denotes the liquid form, as you already know, crude oil. But technically, petroleum also includes natural gas and bitumen, a solid form. The natural gas and the crude oil constitutes the primary fossil fuels. How we can able to refine that crude petroleum? The crude petroleum obtained from the well is dark colored viscous liquid which contains many impurities such as water, solid particles, and gases like methane and propane. So we have to separate it. The process of separating petroleum into useful byproduct and removal of undesirable impurities is called refining. In case of refining, it consists of three types: separation of water, removal of sulfur compounds, and then fractional distillation. We will discuss one by one. Separation of water. The crude oil obtained from the oil wells will have salt water mixed with it. As a first step, water is removed from the crude oil. Removal of sulfur compounds. The crude oil will have harmful sulfur compounds as impurities. In this step, these impurities are removed. And then we move on to fractional distillation. Petroleum is a mixture of various constituents such as petroleum gas, petrol, diesel, kerosene, lubricating oil, paraffin wax, etc. This process is done by means of fractional distillation. The process of heating a mixture of liquids having different boiling points and then separating them by cooling is called fractional distillation. So in this process, the crude oil is first heated to about 400 degrees centigrade in the furnace. As the vapors of crude oil move up the tower, various fractional denses occurring at different boiling ranges. So these are also known as petrochemicals. Due to its great commercial importance, petroleum is also called as black gold. Now we are going to see the uses of petroleum. The LPG is used in house as well as in industry. Diesel and petrol are used as fuel for vehicles. It is also used to run electric generators. Kerosene is used as fuel for stoves and also in jet planes. Paraffin wax is used to make candles, ointments, ink, crayons, etc. Bitumen or asphalt is mainly used to surface roads. Next, we move on to fuels. Any substance that can produce heat and energy on burning is called fuel. In case of types of fuel, it's of three types: solid fuel, liquid fuel, and gaseous fuel. Fuels like wood and coal are in solid state and they are called as solid fuels. This type of fuel was the one first to be used by man. The production of cost is also low. Next, we move on to liquid fuels. Most of the liquid fuels are derived from fossil remains of dead plants and animals. Petroleum oil, coal tar, and alcohol are some of the liquid fuels. These fuels give more energy on burning and burn without ash. And the final one, gaseous fuel. Coal gas, oil gas, producer gas, and hydrogen are some of the gaseous fuel. These fuels can easily be transported through pipes and they do not produce pollution. For a good characteristics of a fuel, the following characteristics should be followed, so that you are going to see now. It should be easily available, it should be easily transportable, it should be less expensive, it should have high calorific value. Calorific means heat content. It should produce large amount of heat and it should not leave behind any undesirable substances. So in case of efficiency, when you say specific energy, calorific value should be high. Then only it will produce large amount of heat. Now we are going to see the difference between octane number and centane number. Octane number Octane rating is used for petrol. Centane number rating is used for diesel. It measures the amount of octane present in the petrol. It measures the ignition delay of the fuel in diesel engine. Third point, octane number of petrol can be increased by adding benzene or toluene. Here, centane number of diesel can be increased by adding acetone. The last point, the fuel with high octane number has low centane number. The fuel with high centane number has low octane number. Next, we move on to alternative fuel. What do you mean by alternating fuel? If this coal content depletion taking place continuously, then there will be demand for those fuels. So we have to find alternate fuel, that is the natural resources in the world have been used by man in a rapid way and they will be extracted soon. So burning of these fuels also cause temperature rise in Earth's atmosphere, causing global warming. Many believe that fuel which does not cause pollution is needed to enhance the quality of our environment. So we are going to discuss some of the alternative fuels that are given below. First one, biodiesel. Biodiesel is a fuel obtained from vegetables such as oil and soya beans, jatropha oil, corn oil, sunflower oil, cottonseed oil, rice bran oil, and rubber seed oil. And the next type, wind energy. Wind energy is obtained with the help of windmills. When the wind blows, they rotate the blades of windmills and electricity is produced by dynamo. And the next one, Gore gas. It is obtained by fermentation of cow dung in the absence of air. It mainly contains methane and a little ethane. It is widely used in rural areas for cooking and operating engines. The next important one we are going to see is solar energy. Solar means what? Sun. So, the sun is the first and foremost energy source that makes life possible on the earth. Solar energy is only viable source of non-depleting nature of our sun, provides a free and renewable source of energy. So it is a renewable type of energy without endangering the environment. So solar energy is a clean energy. With the minimum efforts, maximum energy can be harnessing by using this various equipments. Now we are going to discuss about applications of solar energy. Solar energy has wider application in various fields. It is used in solar water heater. It is used in drying of agricultural and animal products. It is used in electric power generation. It is used in solar greenhouses. It is used in solar pumping and solar distillation. It is used for solar cooking and solar furnaces also. So in this lesson we have discussed about the petroleum, natural gas, fuel, efficiency of a fuel, hydrocarbon applications, and then finally alternative fuel. Thank you, students.